Professor Bala, other dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to express my deepest congratulations and most genuine congratulations to the graduating class. I experienced this day many decades ago, and it's almost forgotten in my memory, but the greatest value that my parents may have given to me was a good education. Don't fritter it away. Don't forget that this is the time that you have used your innovativeness and your creativity and your diligence to complete a curriculum. Your real learning starts now as you go into the real world. The tools have been given to you. The experience and exposure has been given to you. But what you make in life is what you do after you graduate. There will be thousands of occasions when you have to make difficult decisions. You need to, at all times, ask yourself if you are doing the right thing and take the decision that's the right thing, however difficult or unpopular that may be. And think of yourself as being one of the more fortunate people in this world, and that there are millions who are less fortunate. And don't ever forget that, because you need to look at your life as one where you can make a difference. So I wish you well, and I am very envious of you coming out into the India of today and tomorrow, which is going to be a great country. Play your role, and hopefully many of you will be leaders in the India of tomorrow. Congratulations again.
So I am delighted to have an interaction session because Ratanji loves interaction with the students. Unfortunately, some of our students, because of the limitations in the hall, could not be here. But some of the graduates, current students, gave some questions. I grouped them based on the amount of questions from various people. Sir, I will ask one by one. The first two questions are similar. I am going to combine them. What is that one life principle that Mr. Ratan Tata wants MBA graduates like me to focus upon to make a difference to our lives as well as the society that we live in? A similar thing is also given by, this is Shiv Kalyan PGPM. Similar thing is given by, please tell us top 5 things that as a youngster we all should do in the next 5 years that will help and shape our next 30 years.
I think I've in part answered that in what I said a few minutes ago. I think the young graduates who are coming out from a great institute like this need to not look at their future as being that of making the most money or being the most visible, but looking at them as being people who want to make a difference. I had to fill the shoes of a very big person, and those were very big shoes. I couldn't possibly have filled them appropriately. So I decided just to be myself. And I would say, you got the education, you got the tools, be yourself. Be driven by a desire to make a difference, a desire to be ethical and fair, and then you will make a difference. To be popular and to be a conformist itself will never make you do the kinds of things that we see happening around us.
Thank you, sir. So it's a question of be yourself, be what you want to be. Yes, there can be role models, but you satisfy your own dreams. This next question is, which is from your quote, sir. You said, I don't believe in taking right decisions. I take decisions and then make them right. One of your quotes that had major impact on this particular student and a few others, and I believe on many others too. Could you please quote or narrate one major example in your life in which you have followed what you just said before?
I hate to demolish what you just said. Unfortunately or fortunately, I've never made that quote. The social media has attributed it to me somewhere. And it gives me today an opportunity to dodge that question. It would be very arrogant on my part to say that I have the ability of making a decision right. There are many decisions that one takes in life that turn out to be wrong or difficult or impossible to execute. And again, I think you just have to do what you believe is right. A bad decision, you need to own up and disregard that decision or rectify it. A decision that you believe is right and the right thing to do, you need to fight for it and to execute it however difficult it makes you. All of you who rise to a position of seniority will find that taking decisions is a very lonely activity. Difficult decisions are really ones that you need to take and you're alone. And most people around you may seem to disagree with you. Do what you believe is right and do what you believe is fair and do what you believe is going to make a difference. And let there be a driving force that says every decision you take has to stand the test of public scrutiny. And if it does, please take it, stand with it, and execute it.
Thank you. I think since we have some press people, let us correct the misquote of him. And I am so glad that this is corrected at least in this particular podium. Thank you, sir. In the era of mushrooming startups, while mergers and acquisitions are becoming the game plans for the corporates, culture fit remains the biggest challenge in most of the mergers and acquisition deals or post-merger integration. Having led a corporate group of massive size with more than 100 companies and 5 million employees, what do you think has been and is being the key in holding up to the Tata culture and Tata values and making sure it trickles down till the bottom of the pyramid? I don't like the word bottom of the pyramid. Correct it as base of the pyramid, though the student's question is like that. Until the base of the pyramid employee in the organization follows it.
I believe the Tata Group has had one great advantage, that it has had about 150 years of cultural evolution. But the cultural tone of the organization has to be set by the person at the top. I think that person lives in a fishbowl. His life, his cleanliness, his integrity, his values are those that he can impose on his others if he follows them himself. If he does not, if he vacillates, if he is deceitful, the organization will inherit that culture. And one is pleased to say that in the Tata Group, values and ethics have been foremost in the teachings or the tone that my predecessors set before me. And all I did was follow in their footsteps. It's something that very often in the changing fabric of ethics and values that seems to get more difficult to do. But you need to go home at night and say, I didn't succumb.
Thank you very much, sir. It's such a valuable lesson. Walk the talk. Talk is cheap. We can have great vision, values and whatnot, and if the chief himself or herself doesn't follow, how can you set an example to the person in the base of the pyramid? Very thank you very much for that on that, sir. Next question is from 3-4 students, maybe 7 students. After stepping down from day-to-day responsibilities of the Tata Group, you had made more than 10 investments in startups. Majority are online, e-commerce and technology companies. Is there any reason to invest on these types of companies when you had managed previously one of the globally diverse enterprise from services to heavy engineering and not necessarily these kind of e-learning kind of things? Can you comment on that and your logic for this?
You know, when I was involved in the Tata Group, I was deathly afraid of personal investments because one might talk of them having conflict of interest. It's very difficult within the Tata Group to not have some semblance of conflict given the diversity of the group. Now, for the last 3 years, I've been a free person, and if I look at the landscape, I see the future in the young managers, the young startups. It's what I saw in the United States in the 70s and 80s. It's the disruptive environment that and the ability to think out of the box that has made the United States change its appearance from smokestack companies to innovative companies that we see around us today, Apple, Facebook, etc. And I saw this as an opportunity to encourage and to support young startups that were in a new space, which is the e-commerce and e-retail space, which in my view is going to change the face of Indian merchandising and marketing. And so, in a small token way, because I'm not a very wealthy person, I've spread myself to 10 companies, hoping that some of them will succeed.
Sir, this question is probably the most popular question. Many of our students, about 47 of them, have asked something similar to this question. Let me ask that question. I have always dreamt of being a TAS, Tata Administrative Service Manager. As a matter of fact, Tata Administrative Service is the one which in my opinion is bigger and better than IAS, which can be interpreted as Indian Annihilation Service. This is a student's remark, not mine. As a Great Lakes alumni, what avenues exist for me and my classmates to make it into this task where at least we are given a chance for an interview? I know that you are not in command right now, but your leadership permeates everywhere. Can you help?
I can help by taking this to the present leadership in Tata's. I don't know why there is a view that seems to be expressed that Great Lakes as an institute does not have an opportunity to participate in the selection of TAS candidates. But let me assume that that is so. It should not be so. I think if we all aspire for a country of equal opportunity, it should be based on merit and not on the institute you come from. And I will convey the expression that your students have mentioned and your alums have mentioned to the present leadership, because I do not believe that that would be a fair way to search for candidates for TAS. So I shall undertake to do that.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. There are many questions, but we have a plan and a program. I am going to request Ratan Tata that I will send the questions. He can send it at due course, and I will send it by email to everybody in the student body later on. So with one last question, sir, I am going to close this. What is your key learning from Tata Nano in terms of product design, product introduction, marketing and sales, and positioning with a low price? If you will have to repeat this for another segment in India, what should be that segment? Sivaramakrishnan, General Manager, Dubai, and a few others.
Giving an answer from the heart would take the rest of the day. So let me just say that the Nano was designed by a group which might have had an average age of 25 or 26. It was a really exhilarating exercise of trying to produce a car that could, an affordable car that could be purchased for a lakh of rupees. And the launch of that vehicle was a success far beyond everybody's expectations. Unfortunately, the lessons we learned were perhaps to look more carefully at a situation where we had a very aggressive head of government. Somebody talked of that as being a Bengal tiger, but it was a Bengal tigress. Where we lost a year in moving a plant, a completed car plant, and re-establishing it in another part of the country. During that year, we lost a lot of the excitement over the new product and gave our competitors an opportunity to create myths and stories about us. But the greatest mistake we made, in my view, which was our mistake, was the salespeople in Tata Motors took what might be the softest option of getting the car branded as the cheapest car rather than the most affordable car for the people. And that caused the car to have a negative impact on the market. And people didn't want to be seen in the cheapest car. And I think that has been our greatest deficiency that has and disenabled the car to perform what it was meant to do. It was meant to reach the people. It never has. It was meant to be reachable throughout India, which it was put through the normal dealerships. So we made our bunch of mistakes. And it would take an equal amount of time to say what it would take. So let me stop here.
Thank you very much, sir.